Ted, for God's sake, Ted, put the dildo down. That isn't part of it.
Now I want a pina colada.
An acquired taste.
Okay, Bethany.
Yes, Kathleen, my everything.
Until last week, and we started joking about sex escape rooms, this was not something that I even thought about it ever existed.
No, because usually sex and escape room are not things you want together. You know, like,
So
if you like if you're trying to escape a room, you probably want to not add sex to that unless it's like a game you're playing.
are you a fan of escape rooms in general?
I've only been to one.
Yeah.
I was terrible at it, but it was fun. My thing about escape rooms is my the same thing I have about haunted houses, which is that there's always the one chance that this is the time that they didn't fully background check one of the employees, and like they're actually going to lock you in here and kill you. So that sits in the back of my mind.
So there are kinky escape rooms out there that could fit under the category of sex escape rooms.
Have you done escape rooms before?
I did it once. I'm terrible at them, but I love getting real drunk and watching my friends fight with each other.
Okay.
So there are naughty escape rooms, but they vary in levels of how kinky they are.
Okay.
I found one, and God bless whoever did the SEO for this website. The first one that shows up is from Lithuania.
Whoa! Well
so
done.
It's not even a .com, it's a .lt. And it's called The Hot Room.
The hot room.
The Hot Room, which I think is a really good name for a bar, too. Like, wouldn't you go to a bar named The Hot Room?
The hot room? Yeah, absolutely. Only pretty people and hot toddies.
And hot toddy.
Hot
Ooh,
toddies.
I could go for a hot toddy
Hot
right now.
toddy.
So the opening homepage says, "Let the games start." This is the first escape room of the environment for which the environment is not artificial.
Wait.
The players are trapped in a real adult sex shop.
So is this translated into English?
I think that the website may have like a plugin that translates.
Great. Okay. Because let the game start is not what I was expecting that phrase to be.
Apparently, Lolita is the name of the room within the hot room.
Oh, God.
Lolita is a smart and horny owner of an adult sex shop, and she will imprison you in her nasty dream. And for it, you will not be a dream, but reality. You have to escape from her erotic fantasies or to remain there forever. Yeah, there's definitely a translation. Intimate experience is 60 minutes in the adult sex shop full of various erotic toys. Would you never dare to enter? ?
Would you, Kathleen, never dare to enter?
I don't know if I would go to Lithuania to begin with, so I'm never entering. We promise it will be really hot. Let the game start. Yeah.
Let the game start. Is there a woman there? Is Lolita there? Or is...
I think so.
So she's like there being all sexy, or is she like just
giving
an
you
ever-present...
clues.
Okay.
She's there, and they showed pictures of the room. And there's like a lot of pornographic photos on the wall, and whips and locks, and attractive mannequin heads wearing like straps on their décolleté. Would you go to one of these? Like, I think I might go as a joke with a bunch of friends.
Here's who I would go with. I would only go with people who loved escape rooms and had to win at all costs, so that they took all of this deathly seriously. I wouldn't want to go with a bunch of people who are like, and then like put a dildo on their forehead and like, I'm a unicorn. Yeah. Like I would want to go with people who were like scholars, and they were like, okay, Ted, lift up that dildo. And is there a 1 under the dildo, or is it a 0? Okay, Bethany, pick up the gimp mask. Is the gimp mask? No, this gimp mask isn't part of it. And then Lolita comes in over the loudspeaker, and she's like, the gimp mask isn't part of it. And you're like, okay, sorry. And then someone is just like, okay, Petra, bend over and spread your cheeks. Do we have anything? No, nothing in the cheeks. Okay, like it would have to be so serious. Ted, for God's sake, Ted, put the dildo down. That isn't part of it.
There's a famous escape room in Boston called Trapology, and they have a sex room called Booby Trap.
So they didn't work real hard on the name for that one.
And it has mixed reviews, But
No
only
kidding.
because people going there for true BDSM are disappointed.
Of course, if you're going there because you actually think you're going to be like signing a contract with a trusted person who's actually going to like, poke you with their stiletto, you're going to be bummed out if you go there and you find out, Ted is looking for a plastic dildo number.
This was one that happened in New York in 2016. It's no longer around.
COVID?
But I have quite a lot of details about this one. No, I think it just closed.
Okay.
So it was called the Komonata Quest.
Oh.
Which Komonata is, I believe that it means room in Russian. So it's just room quest.
Okay. Okay.
And so here's the theme and the story for this Komonata Quest escape room.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I know all this because there's a blogger who goes to escape rooms all over the place and then writes about them afterwards and like rates them.
Speak of talking about designing your own life. That's a great gig.
It's a great, the blog is roomescapeartist.com. And this is where I got this information. The Komonata Quest sex escape room. Ooh. We were agents dispatched to investigate a house of ill repute.
Ooh, a brothel.
Literally everything was sex and kink themed. Let's be clear. We're not talking about a cutie sex themed game. The Komonata Quest, oh my God, I have a hard time with that word. Komonata Quest was not fucking around.
Whoa.
No, the blogger took a lot of pics of stuff that was inside, and it was like a lot of furry handcuffs. There was red lighting.
I feel
everywhere.
like furry handcuffs are fucking around. Like, if you're not fucking around, I want some of those like electrified handcuffs,
So the blogger went on to say, there were no actors in this game, but at times we had to physically restrain each other for brief periods on a bed.
Love this.
Luckily, we didn't have to put anything in anyone's mouth.
And one person in their party was a little disappointed.
The best part about this Komonata sex room was something in the room called the breast directional lock.
Okay, great. Tell me more.
It was a foam boob on the wall, set against a sexy painting of Snow White. The breast spins when you twist it. And then there's a puzzle that you solve that will give you the spin pattern. It's especially memorable to many because the way you interact with it bears no resemblance to how breasts actually work or ought to be touched.
Is there a picture of it on the blog?
There isn't, no. And I looked it up and there's like no information.
So it's over a picture of Snow White. Like, I'm guessing Snow White is painted as topless, and this is one of. Yes. But in my head, when you said that, it was like just a painting of Snow White, and they like put it in her forehead. It was just like, where else are you gonna put it?
And apparently, there's like a moaning sound effect that's triggered when you twist Snow White's foam breast.
That must have been a ball to design. It really must have been fun.
So apparently, there's also like a video you watch, and this particular room came from Russia, so it's like English dubbed over someone speaking Russian in this. So, if you're thinking, I am new to BDSM, can someone show me the ropes?
Literally, they can, but sign this consent form first.
But I'm here to tell you all about it. But it's sort of like the blind leading the blind, because I'm a little bit prude when it comes to this.
You're never nude.
Okay, so there is an escape bodysuit, Bethany, that you can buy on the website bondagewebbing.com.
She immediately starts to Google.
/collections/bondage-escape-games.
--HTML.
Okay, so it's a full bodysuit. You know when you go to Party City, like during the Halloween season, and you can buy those full bodysuits that cover your head, and they come in colors like green or purple or whatever?
Totally.
So it's essentially that, but it has gold leggings, and they have 4 different bondage escape bodysuits, ranging from $64 to $259. Are you looking at them right now?
I am.
Are you into this? Is this what you're into?
No. Because it panics me. So
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see. I don't think you can see anything.
No, it
you're
goes
all
over
tied
your
up.
whole body.
It goes over your whole body and your ankles and your wrists. Like everything's tied together depending on what bodysuit you buy. And it's essentially like an escape room within a bodysuit. You literally have to escape.
So it's really interesting. So it looks like so you can get a bunch of different, they're like harnesses basically. So it's like, it's like you put on the full suit, but then you also have a harness that goes over it. The harnesses, like some of them go over your whole mouth. Some of them wrap around your whole body like a bunch of times. What I'm thinking is this has to be a nightmare to figure out when you first pull it out of the package, because I once couldn't figure out how to put on a vest. And all you have to do is like put your arms through it. But for some reason, I stood in Macy's and I could not figure out how to put a vest on. Just one of these has like 17 different locks, and like this has to be so hard.
To close off my section.
Yes.
I found this really cool, very open first account blog post from a woman named Kayla Lord. Her website is kaylalords.com.
Okay.
And it's called What to Expect at the BDSM Dungeon When You're New.
Ooh, this is very cool and helpful.
Okay, so Kayla, you can follow her on Instagram at kinky Kayla Lords. She says, the first time I went to a BDSM dungeon, my biggest fear was making myself look silly.
Sure.
Here I was, eyed-wise, mouth agape, staring at things that I'd only ever read about. Like, I would love, Bethany, wouldn't you love to go? Because you know that you can go and you don't have to participate.
That feels unfair. If I was like there and I was looking to hook up, I wouldn't want looky-loos just hanging out at the bar.
No. Here's the thing. In BDSM Dungeons, it is my understanding that there are playrooms and then there are social rooms. Oh. And in the social rooms, there's like food and drinks and there's a bar and you can hang out and you can be naked or fully clothed in the social room.
Oh, that's cool.
And even in the playroom, I think like it's totally your choice about how much you're wearing. And you can like look at the different rooms from afar, and it's not, you're allowed to do that in BDSM.
Oh, okay. I'd hang out in the front room and have a cocktail.
Yeah. So Kayla says her first time she went, there was a St. Andrew's cross in the corner, and it was so big. Do you know what that is?
I'm just picturing a big cross. I don't actually know what it is.
Yeah. It's just a big X, and it's you strap somebody to it.
Oh, cool. Can you spin them around, or is that just a game show?
I think that might just be the game show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But she also said there was a swing set with no swings because, duh, there was a rope suspension bar.
Fun.
And that there was a woman with her boobs on display. And she's like, wow, people really do get naked here. Those were just her initial impressions. As time went on, her dom asked her for a cup of water, and she had to navigate the red cup versus the blue cup because one was for dominants and the other one was for submissives. And then she had to bring him this cup of water and chant, please don't spill, while she was holding it over her head before she safely delivered it to him.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then he put a collar on her, and she knelt on a cold cement floor in front of strangers, and they weren't even watching. She's like, I was so concerned about people staring at me.
Yeah.
And it felt like there were all eyes on me, but really nobody was watching. We were all just doing our thing.
You know, seeing a submissive kneeling on the floor with a collar on is probably the equivalent of like living in New York and seeing someone crying on the street. It's like you see it every day and you don't even notice.
Yeah.
So
you're just
it's
like, wow,
so normal and basic.
They're having a bad day.
Yeah.
And so she says, when someone tells me that they're nervous or afraid to go into a BDSM dungeon, she's like, listen, it is totally only what you are comfortable with. She says every club is a little bit different. They all have their own community quirks or styles, but there's enough commonalities between them that if you try a couple of different ones that you'll feel comfortable. And apparently before you go into every room, because BDSM dungeons have different rooms for different things, you have to sign in before every room that you go into. So not only do you have to like show ID and pay to get into the club, then you have to sign in into every single room. So you're showing your ID multiple times throughout the night.
Cool. There's so much going on. You know, when you go to bed at 7:30 like I do, there's so much that you miss.
Stop laughing. This is erotic.
I'm on a new medication and I think it's making me hallucinate.
I would have been a Ted Bundy victim.
Yeah. I had no idea that so many people out there felt the same way I did.